Hello chess friends and welcome to the channel. Yesterday afternoon the first round of the Tata Steel Masters 2019 was played and we were lucky because there are already many great games to review. Yesterday evening I published Ding vs Carlsen. I will put the link of the video in the comments below today's video, and now I'd like to show you the game between Van Foreest and Anand. Jorden Van Foreest is a 19 years old Dutch grandmaster with a rating of 2612. Jorden comes from a chess family. The stronger player in the family was his great-grandfather, who was 3 times Dutch champion. Now he is one of the strongest young players in the world, so it's a good idea to keep an eye on him. Let's start with this game against Anand. Van Foreest with the white pieces opens with e4, and Anand answers with c6, the Caro-Kann. d4, d5, e captures on d5, the exchange variation, and c captures on d5. With c4, we will enter in the Panobotvinnik attack, but Van Foreest continues with bishop to d3. The most played move is knight to c6. Anand plays the second most played move, knight to f6, that of course is still a very good move. c3, queen to c7, controlling f4, h3, limiting the scope of the black bishop, and here g6, something unusual. The only game that I have in my database with this position is between 2 players below 2000, so we are in an original position, but the computer likes this setup for black. White only maintains the initial advantage, knight to f3, and bishop to f5. Anand is not afraid of the double pawns in case of bishop captures, because the light square bishop is generally the best of the white bishops. Van Foreest doesn't exchange, but let's see what happens in case of bishop captures on f5. G recaptures, knight to e5, rook to g8 attacking g2, g3. Now knight in b goes to d7, black is perfectly fine, and later he will castle long. Let's go back to bishop to f5. Van Foreest, as we said, doesn't exchange. Knight to e5, knight to c6, bishop to f4, and queen to b6 out of the discovered attack. This queen is attacking b2, but this shouldn't be a big problem for white. He can castle short, because after short castle, if queen capture on b2 attacking the rook, of course at first the knight must move, knight to d2, queen captures on c3, but here comes rook to b1, and there is no way to save this pawn, and more than that to allow the rook on the 7th rank. Because in case of rook to b8, there is knight capture on c6, and this discovered attack will win the rook. And the other idea to protect this pawn, knight to a5, is a terrible move that loses on the spot, because there is queen to a4 with check. The knight must go back to c6. Here comes rook capture on b7. One of the protectors of the defenders of the pawn is gone. Rook to c8 to add the protection to the knight. But here comes knight captures, queen captures, and rook to c1. Attacking the queen that is pinned, but the queen can't capture the white queen, because if queen captures on a4, rook captures on c8, is checkmate, so the queen will be lost. So, short castle is a very good move, one of the best alternatives for white. Van Foreest, after queen to b6, prefers at first to exchange the bishops, and then to play the knight back to d3 to protect b2. Here comes e6, knight to d2, rook to g8 attacking g2, short castle for white and long castle for black. a4, good move, knight to e4, rook to c1, and bishop to d6. Bishop captures and knight recaptures, and both players only remains with the 2 knights. The bishop pair is lost for both players, but we must ask ourselves, but was it a good idea for Anand to exchange his dark square bishop? Let's go back some moves. Let's go back to rook to c1. This dark square bishop, if we analyze well the position, really has no scope, because if we move the bishop to g7, it only blocks his rook, and the bishop can't use this long diagonal because there is this pawn wall. If the bishop goes to e7, he only threatens two unuseful squares that are h4 and e3. On this diagonal he can't move, and so it was really a good idea by Anand to exchange this bishop. Let's go back to our game. We said bishop captures and knight recaptures. Here comes b4, good move, attacking on the king side. King to b8, always useful. Queen to e2, another good move, activating the queen on the light squares. Here comes queen to c7, because Anand doesn't want to present some tempi to the white player, because the pawn will advance attacking something. And here comes queen to e3, maybe with the idea to keep an eye on the king side and also be able to invade. But this is not a great move. The queen is much better on e2, and the right idea is to keep advancing the pawn on the queen side. Anand relocate the knight to e7, another good move, so white can't gain tempi advancing the pawns. f3, another move that lose some tempo. Here comes knight to g6. Anand was able to gain the initiative. Van Foreest must protect g2 because of course this knight will jump to h4. The best move is rook to f2, but he plays knight to e5, and this is a blunder because it allows f4 protected by the knight attacking the queen, but more than that, this pawn advance is clearing the f5 square for the second knight to join the attack on the king side. Queen to e1, knight to f5, the second knight comes, and from f5 see how many interesting squares he can reach. Knight captures on g6, rook captures on g6, rook to f2 protecting the pawn, but it's already too late because Anand doubles the rook on the g file, and Van Foreest tries a counter attack with c4. Knight to e3, attacking again g2, c capture on d5, a discovered attack on the queen. Moving the queen to d7 is perfectly fine, but what Anand played, knight capture on g2, is even better, because now if rook captures on c7 comes knight capture the queen on e1 with check, and later also the rook will fall. So after knight captures on g2, Van Foreest moves away the queen, queen to e5, opposing black's queen, queen capture, d captures, and here comes knight to e1 with the discovery check. This is the most precise move, and here Van Foreest resigns, because this knight, not only this is a discovery check, even if white moves the king to h2, here comes knight to d3, a terrible knight fork, and Anand can only win this endgame. It's already -6 for black. So it was a crushing victory for Anand, but we must remember that Van Foreest is only 19, and there is no shame, no shock to lose against a champion like Anand. Sure, Wishy gave him an harsh lesson, but Jorden is a bright guy. He will learn many lessons during this strong tournament that will make him stronger. Our analysis is over. As usual, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel, because many other great videos will come in the next days. For now, thanks for watching and goodbye.